Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. In this video, we'll be talking about koalas, the famous animal from Australia. Please remember to like and subscribe. Now let's get right into it. Fact 1. Not a bear. A common name to call the koalas is koala bears, but this is extremely inaccurate because koalas are not related to bears whatsoever. Koalas are its individual species and completely unrelated to the bear family. The reason they have this misunderstood name is because when the English explorers came to Australia and saw these animals, they kind of just assumed these are the native bears of the area because they came from a world, Europe, Asia, Africa, and so forth, where there are natural bears. And so they thought that this is the type of bear that exists in Australia. However, as the scientific community studied these animals more and more, they've come to the firm conclusion that koalas are not bears at all. They're simply koalas, an individual species. And therefore, next time someone tells you about koala bears, you can correct them and let them know that they are not bears at all. Right, let's get into the next fact. Fact 2. Drop bear. Building on the previous section, the word bear is very inaccurate when describing koalas. But it stuck around because people have been using it for hundreds of years. Another interesting deviation is the drop bear name. Drop bear is a name given to a mythical animal that's based on koalas, and instead of being herbivores and very docile and sleeping most of the day, drop bear is actually a vicious carnivorous animal that's shaped like a koala and will drop down from the trees and kill people. It's very incredible that people thought about the koalas as a type of animal that could turn into a very dangerous one. Obviously, drop bears are a mythical and urban legend kind of concept, but probably used to scare people and children. Make no mistake though, koalas will never eat meat and will never drop down and attack people. They're just unable to do that physically. Alright, let's get into the next fact. Fact 3. Lives in trees. Koalas spend the majority of their lives clinging to a tree. They eat there, they sleep there, they mate there, they also socialize there. Trees is really the default structures that koalas require to live with. Koalas, even though in pictures we can see koalas on land or crossing a road and so forth, those are the rare times. Most of the time koalas simply live and sleep on a tree. And so their bodies and their claws are fully adapted to spend their whole lives on the tree. And you can also see that most of the pictures and videos of koalas are them on a natural habitat, which is in a eucalyptus tree. And so you can think of a koala as a tree type animal. It is an animal that must live in trees or else they will not survive. Alright, let's get into the next fact. Fact 4. 3 subspecies. Koalas are native to only one country in the world, Australia. But they're not all the same in Australia. In fact, there are 3 subspecies identified. There is the Queensland koala, the New South Wales koala, and the Victorian koala. You can see they're all named after the area they're in. The Queensland koala is the smallest of the 3, with shorter silver fur and shorter skull. The Victorian koala is the largest, with brown fur and wider skull. And the whole reason why these are named after the area is because koalas are not a migratory kind of animal. Because they're so sloth-like and likes to sleep most of the day, they're not meant to travel far. And so once they're born in a certain territory, they remain there for the rest of their lives. They're not naturally curious and moved about to various territories. And as a result, 3 distinct types of koalas exist in Australia. And again, they're named after the area because that's where they're found, and they're not likely to intermix. Koalas have very low genetic variation. Each group of the subspecies of koalas are almost the same and identical, and there's a lot of inbreeding and low genetic variation due to the fact that they do not really venture out from their territories. And so when koalas lose their territory due to wildfires or climate change, it is pretty disastrous because they're not the type of animals that will seek out more favorable conditions and move there. They rather just remain where they are and stick to a routine that they've known since birth. And so koalas are very sensitive to habitat loss. Alright, let's get into the next and final fact. Simple animals. The koala has the smallest brain compared to all other marsupials in the Australian continent. And it's very incredible that within their skull, the brain doesn't even fill the entire skull. 60% of the skull contains just cranial fluid, and 40% of it is brain matter. As a result, these animals are not capable of any kind of complex tasks or abstract concepts. They're unable to learn and adapt to new changes. For example, studies have shown that if you put eucalyptus leaves on the ground, they will not eat it because they assume that all leaves must come from trees. They're very simple animals, and as a result, as I mentioned in the previous section, the concept of a drop bear is highly unlikely because they simply do not have the mental capability to spy on a human, go toward them and drop them and kill them. These animals are not likely to deviate from what they know for thousands of years and will continue to do the same thing over and over again because they're very simple animals. And so you don't need to worry about the drop bear mythical koala. Alright, that's it for my video today. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe. See you next time.